Welcome back to the post game. Joining us now is Ben Burgis. He's author of Give Them an Argument, Logic for the Left.
Figured it out.
What is it?
Figured it out.
Yes. And also, he is the inspiration behind this incredible new song by Napoleon the Legend. Now, there's a problem with Ben's. Ben, did you just hang up on me?
Yeah. I figured out what the problem was with Zoom. I could hear the song.
Oh, look at Ben. A little real-time fix. All right, Ben, good job. Are you ready to hear your new song from Napoleon the Legend?
I'm trying to prepare myself.
I don't think you're prepared.
Here we are.
Get in the habit of actually breaking down these right-wing arguments. Logic for the left.
Break it down, Ben.
Of course, it's bad faith. It's ridiculous. There's abundant evidence that at this point that's bullshit. And if you're actually thinking about it and breaking it down, okay, that's also bullshit. Give an argument. When I've said this in the past, I've got a lot of hate for this. Using law of logic for the left. One of the premises: go first, go on the attack. For the sake of argument, we shouldn't be quick to accept that either. For every dollar increase in the minimum wage, there's an increase in the life expectancy of the working poor.
So that would be another negative from a conservative perspective.
Hey, can we actually, you know what? Can we just do the last half of that one more time? I'm in love with this.
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
I think it's hilarious. It's such a good song.
Get in the habit of actually go first, go on the attack. For the sake of argument, we shouldn't be quick to accept that either. For every dollar increase in the minimum wage, there's an increase in the life expectancy of the working poor.
So that would be another negative from a conservative perspective.
Ben Burgis, welcome.
Thank you. Well, today we're going to talk about several other things that are also bullshit.
Okay, Ben, take us through it. David, hopefully, actually, I realize
I have it.
Okay, you have it. All right, David, I think you should be ready with this tweet. And Ben, you are going to talk about actually a friend of ours on this show today. And of course, some garbage that she has been put through by some garbage people. Ben, go.
Yeah, so Briana, her first name, was trending on Twitter because of this.
Briana Joy Gray.
The core of the issue is that Kamala Harris tweeted, and I quote, "Tested for coronavirus, all caps, and treatment needs to be free, period." And instead of doing a slow clap or Yas tweeted it, Briana Joy Gray, of course, many times guest on this program, terrific press secretary for Bernie Sanders, quote tweeted that and said, "Well, this is a good start, but is it okay to die from cancer or diabetes because you're poor?" And you'd think that the response to this centrists on Twitter would be to do one of a few things, one of which might be to answer the question. But you wouldn't necessarily think that they would jump all over this and say that this was an extremely offensive tweet, which is exactly what happened, what caused all these thousands of tweets to be about this. So the party line was that this is offensive because Kamala Harris's mother died of cancer, and one of the diseases that Briana Joy Gray used as an example in that tweet was cancer, which is kind of breathtaking because cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States, just behind kind heart disease. This is not like her using the example of cancer is not like some little jab at the Harris family, right? Like,
yeah. How about it covers? Yeah.
What
about it covers like fake memories about listening to rap records before they got released on the Breakfast Club. That might be a specific.
Yeah, no. Well, if you do have those memories, you probably should seek medical attention. But yeah, no. This is totally amazing. Her response to, when people first started to do this line of attack, that how dare you? Kamala Harris's mother died of cancer, was to say, yeah, a lot of people die of cancer, which, is why I think it's important that it should be treated for free, right? That, that you shouldn't go into debt while you're getting chemotherapy. And of course,
and then Simone Sanders, in the middle of deleting Brent Kavanaugh tweets, was like, boom.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That, yes, literally while the entire Democratic machine is recycling all of the talking points that were used to defend Brett Kavanaugh, against Tara Reid. And that's fine, right? But like, this is an offensive tweet. And even better is that, like, trend in these tweets going forward is this is not good for her future job prospects that she's tweeting things like this, which I think might reflect a misunderstanding of why people volunteered for like leave, in her case, like a much better paid job to be a staffer on an insurgent Democratic Socialist campaign, that this is not actually intended as a career power move.
Yeah, she actually is. Well, she wants people, as an example, to get health care. And so the response from the Bakari Sellers of the world was, you'll never work in this town again. And, Ben, I forget who coined this term, but it's a great one, which is the idea of the cry bully.
Yes.
So there is like the whole broader, like, again, like the bigger critique that we always make of like the moralism and all of these like, unhealthy tendencies online. But then there is like this very specific thing here, which is like, we're not only going to just make everything about manners and be snitches and try to like hurt people's careers over nothing, or even like whatever, we're going to actually combine that with attempting to cry victim, because I mean, even there, it's still just utterly demented. It's like, right. I mean, actually, of course, you should want people to get coverage if you were victimized by cancer, you sociopaths.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a relative who died of cancer. That would be statistically anomalous if you didn't. And it's that one of the great things about this response is, just to circle back, it never actually involves answering her question, right? Should you have to pay for cancer treatments? God, for that matter, circle all the way back to a couple of weeks ago when the right-wing party line was that coronavirus wasn't a big deal because, after all, tens of thousands of people died of the seasonal flu, which, footnote, might be interesting to know how many of those people would have died if they'd had timely medical attention.
Right.
And then, in fact, you really wonder, like sort of imagine this like macabre play where like somebody without health insurance, goes to the hospital because they think they might have coronavirus. They give them the test. They said, good news, right? It's not coronavirus. It's just the seasonal flu, which might also kill you, but you're going to have to pay for that one.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, that to me is, first of all, there's solidarity with Bree and fuck these people. In the Democratic and press establishment, but then it's also just like this very interesting, like, and they're threatening her, they're threatening her career and so on, which is how they operate. But then there is like this other dimension that this just points to. It's like, well, a lot of Americans are living in a state of emergency every day.
Right.
Tens of thousands of people are dying premature deaths because of HMOs and insurance companies and the politicians that serve them. So why? And again, this goes back to, and forget, like, we need to get rid of the Republicans electorally, 1,000%. No bullshit from me about that. But that thing of like, well, when the Republicans kind of say, or even like the Randians say, like, yeah, well, you know, what are you going to do? You wouldn't inherit money, die.
Right.
There is a coherence versus this bizarre liberal centrist shtick of, well, it's okay if a bunch of people die, and it's all right if a bunch of horrible. But then there's other times which, either because we've done like some excruciating demented means test and figured out some silly calculus in our heads, or we're just like, it's an emergency, so that's just different. It really lays bare, like, the right-wing project is toxic, dangerous, and needs to be defeated, and it's still alive. These people are ideologically dead, and they don't even know it yet.
Yeah, which doesn't make them less dangerous.
Right.
But yeah, no, absolutely. And just to put a bow on this, I mean, what her original tweet was pointing out is this apparent inconsistency. Now, there's a way to get around that inconsistency, which is to say, no. The reason I want people who have coronavirus to not have to pay for it is because, like, that way they're less likely to spread this one particular thing that we're really worried about to the rest of the population. I don't particularly care if they die, right? But like, that's the thing. Kamala Harris isn't going to say that, but it looks to me like either that's her position or it's just blatantly inconsistent, right? That, like, either the reason we want coronavirus patients to not have to be bankrupted by this is actually human compassion, or we just want treatment to be free, so we'll incentivize people to come and, to slow the spread of it. But either way, I really want to know the answer, because it's a really good question, right? Like, either people in general shouldn't have to be bankrupted, to be, we could, obviously, we've talked a million times before about all the evil things, about private health insurance and people going without health insurance. So either, like, out of human solidarity, none of those things should happen to anybody. In which case, why would you add on to the end of that sentence who has the coronavirus, right? Or else you have some narrow technocratic reason for wanting this that doesn't really have anything to do with human solidarity. And either way, either way that I'd like to know, right? So, like, after we do the however many days we're going to do of, like, faux outrage and, like, pretending to be mortally offended because, Brianna Joy Gray should have known that, like, cancer is, like, the special unique tragedy of the Harris family, or after that's over, right? I think we really need to, like, keep beating this drum, because it's like, okay, but no, seriously, what's the difference?
I would love nothing more than to talk to Kamala Harris's esteemed father about this.
Yeah,
I love it. It's like, I have no answer because I'm incapable of nothing besides outrage. Do you remember when he published that letter?
Mm-hmm.
When Kamala Harris was, like, on the Breakfast Club, she's like, yeah, I think I know about weed. My dad's Jamaican. Okay. So ignore me being an insane, overzealous prosecutor. And he's published a letter. Because I remember I said at the time, I was like, I know that, like, she's banking on everybody being a fucking idiot.
Right.
But a lot of middle-class Jamaicans, including probably her father, who I know he's a Marxist and everything, but he's not like trying to sell a Rasta image And by the way, Rastas would also be be pissed off by the trivializing of how dumb her example was. So sure enough, he released a letter where he basically accused her of playing like crass identitarian politics. It's pretty awesome. Got to interview it. We definitely want to bring. Definitely goals are Rand Paul's neighbor, Kamala Harris's dad.
Yeah.
Ben Burgis, as always, I appreciate you immensely. Everybody go order, give them an argument, Logic for the Left. Check out Ben's great Patreon page, Essay a Week. Listen to him regularly on another great podcast, The David Feldman Show, which we both appear on. That's a great podcast people should subscribe to on iTunes. And, of course, his videos are at Zero Books. Ben, thanks a million.
Thank you.
Later, Ben. You just watched a Michael Brooks Show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.